Many years pass after Abram's birth as the beginning of our tale unfolds, and Abram's father Terah makes a daring move in the early years of human civilization, as he attempts to move his family from the town of Ur in the land of the Chaldeans to Canaan. But he ends up stopping and pitching his tent in Haran. But while in Haran, Abram is called to fulfill all that which his father was unable. The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your land, go from your relatives, go from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse anyone who treats you with contempt, and all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you." Now, as odd as it may sound, ancient Hebrew readers and writers always understood that Abram and his family were pagan polytheists, meaning they worshipped many gods. Because of that, however, as the curse of Cain is undone in the man of Abram here, we see that this story will powerfully put on display one incredible attribute of God's character time and time again, namely his mercy, withholding the punishment that humanity deserves. And it is through this very mercy that we will see the power of God unleashed to humanity. But here, it is God's mercy that presents Abram with a choice: to exalt the God that has just revealed himself to Abram, or to weigh his commands against the promise of other gods.
Peace and love, peace and light, everybody. Hey, look, man, we tapping in again for the Sunday school. I told y'all I'm gonna be tapping in with y'all way more often. So as usual, man, get your pen and your pad, pen and pencil. Let's take some notes. Today we're gonna deal with something that I find interesting. We're gonna deal with Abraham. Father Abraham, they call him. Father Abraham had many sons. You know, so we're gonna dive right in. Ain't wasting no time. Make sure y'all share this, man. Share this. Get the word out. Get the word out. MOI is live. Get the word out. Spread the word. We're gonna go through Abraham's family tree real quick, though. Take notes. Abraham, Aram. Let's read about Abraham real quick, family. Hold on. Abraham is known as the patriarch of the Israelite people through Isaac, the son born to him, and Sarah in their old age, and the patriarch of the Arabs through his son Ishmael, born to Abraham and Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant. So now off the rip, we learned that Abraham is the patriarch of the Israelites, Jacob, the tribes of Jacob through Isaac, but he's also the progenitor of all the Arabs or Arabs through his son Ishmael, who is both what Abraham is, which is Chaldean or Hebrew, and Egyptian. So the Hebrew and Egyptian amalgamation, they're called Arabs, which Arabs not a people. The word Arab just mean the correct word is a word called Bedouin. Bedouin is a better word. Desert dwellers. These were the tent people. Ishmael, the tents of Kedar. Kedar, I think, is Ishmael's third son by Hagar. So right off the rip, I'm noticing that these Hebrews, and I'm calling them Hebrews now by way of Abraham, by way of Moses, those who crossed over. Abraham is supposedly a Hebrew due to the fact that he crossed over the river as well. The word Haparu would be more appropriate, but we'll deal with that in a second. So it says, although Abraham's forefather were from the southern Mesopotamia, now Abraham was actually what was called a Chaldean or Chaldean, and we'll talk about the Chaldeans from the city of Ur, and the city of Ur is located actually in the territory of a land that was called Shinar. We're going to deal with all that in a second, I promise you. Just giving you a heads up. What else? Now, Abraham and Sarah were together. But let's find out who Sarah is to Abraham. How about that? Here's the family tree right here. The descendants of the line of Noah, son, Shem, through Abraham, Jacob, his son. So this is coming from Noah's son, Shem. Now, Ham is going to be the progenitors of the people of the land of Shinar. Stay with me. Noah, son Shem, through Abraham to Jacob. This is the tree that they're tracing. They're tracing Abraham through the lineage of Shem, basically. These are Shemites. That's the family tree lineage to Abraham. Here's a chart. Let's see if the chart is giving us a better view or not. So here we go right here. Noah, his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They're saying that off the lineage of Shem, Aram is up there. Eber, Joktan is right there. So Joktan and Peleg, two sons of Eber, ancestors of the Israelites and the Ishmaelites. These are the Ishmaelites and Israelites generational tree. You see how they come off the same stem? From Shem, Apodex, and come all the way down to Saleah, Eber. From Eber, it comes to Peleg, I think that's correct. Ruah, Saru, Noah. Abraham is known as the patriarch of the son. Oh, let's look for right here. Here we go. Noah. And from Noah, it's Terah. He is listed as the son of Noah. That's who Noah is, y'all. Noah is Noah. And the father patriarch of Abraham, as such, he is a descendant of Shem, sons, whoever that is. Terah is mentioned in the Bible, Genesis 11, 26, 27, the book of Joshua, so on and so forth. Now you see right here, Terah had two kids right here. Abraham and Sarah are kin. You see that? They're related. Right here, which is a misnomer, they're saying, okay, so watch this. Hagar was a handmaid who Abraham's firstborn son, Ishmael. He became the progenitor of what's called the Ishmaelites. Sarah and Abraham, they have Isaac. Then Isaac has two sons, Esau and Jacob. The progenitors to Esau is the Edomites. Then you have the Jacobites, or what they call the Israelites. Their name got changed to Israel. You follow? And then there's their sons and their relatives. We're talking about his first three sons. His first three sons of Jacob, Reuben, Simon, and Levi. Those are the first three sons. Judah, right here. These are the Judeans. But the point I'm making is understanding who Abraham is. So they're saying that he comes off the lineage of Shem from Noah. We're going to dig a little deeper. See if we can dig a little deeper. I think we can. Let's go in. Did you guys know there was a story of Abraham being tossed in the fire, in a fiery furnace? Did you guys know that Abraham survived? Now, what's so astounding about the peace and love, everybody? What's so astounding about this right here is because we know that three other figures were tossed into fire. Meshach, and Abednego was also tossed into the fire, right? Abraham was also tossed into the fire. Why was Abraham being tossed into the fire? That's my question to you guys. The story of Abraham being thrown into a fiery furnace originates from the Jewish and Islamic traditions. Though not explicit in the Bible, it describes Abraham's defiance of idolatry and subsequently miracles deliverance from a fiery furnace by King Nimrod. That's right, Nimrod. The same Nimrod you're talking about. The same Nimrod that is a descendant of the sons, a son of Ham. This is Ham's son. Abraham is dealing with the descendants of Ham because Abraham is the descendant of Shem. Ham, Shem, Japheth, the three sons of Noah after the flood. You dig? So anyway, I thought it was interesting that Abraham was introduced to a fiery furnace. But then I asked myself, why fire? Abraham's descendants were fire worshipers. And it turns out that the idolatry of which Abraham comes from is just that. And if you read about Abraham, let's read about his descendants. Haran is the son of Terah, brother of Abraham. Haran is the son of Terah, brother of Abraham. So Abraham and Terah are brothers. And the father of Lot. Terah is not only Abraham's brother, but Terah is also Lot's father. Now, Lot is going to be the progenitor of the Moabites. It says Haran died in Ur of the Chaldees. Let's go to the city of Ur of the Chaldees. This is where Abraham is from. Then I'm going to show you what land the city of Ur of the Chaldees existed in and show you who the king of that land was. And then circle back to why that king wanted to toss Abraham in the fire in the first place. Or Abram, they call him. It wasn't Abraham yet. Kasdim, commonly translated as Ur of the Chaldees, is a city mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, the birthplace of Abraham. The birthplace of Abraham. This is where he was born. This is his nation. This is his nationality. A gonna go a little farther down. Excavated the site. Leonard Wallow excavated the site, identifying the Sumerian agricultural site where the Chaldeans were settled. So now what they're doing, they're linking the fact that it's a Sumerian culture that Abraham was born in. Sumer is the earliest known civilization located in the historical region of the southern Mesopotamia, emerging during the Chalak, it says, or early Bronze Age between the 6th and the 5th millennium, likely nearby Elm. It is one of the cradles of civilization along with the Egyptian in the Indus Valley. Now it says recent archaeology right here. Recent archaeology work has continued to focus on location. It says that the ancient ziggurats of Ur, write down the ziggurats of Ur, ziggurat, Z-I-G-G, so you guys can see it. What happened? Oh, right here. Sorry. Ziggurat. Z-I-G-G-U-R-A-T. Ziggurat. Now, these ziggurats are going to turn out to be the very thing that Nimrod was constructing. Remember, Nimrod was building the Tower of Babel, they say? It wasn't a tower at all. It was actually a ziggurat. A ziggurat is a certain type of pyramid. He's going to build this pyramid to surpass the mountains from which the other gods sat. He was going to build a structure that was going to surpass the mountain. So if the mountain was 6,000 feet, he's going to build something that was going to be 7,000 feet. And those gods who resided on that mountain said, let us go down there. Let us go down there. That's what the gods of that mountain said, and confound their tongues. So Abraham was born in this particular area, the city of Ur. The city of Ur. Now, the question I was wondering, if Abraham was born in the city of Ur, who was the king of that territory? Not the city of Ur, because the city of Ur was within side of another nation. Hear me. The city of Ur was within the land of Shinar. And what makes the land of Shinar so significant is there was a king of the land of Shinar named Nimrod. So yes, Abraham does come from the city of Ur of the Chaldees, but the city of Ur is within the nation of Shinar, or the land of Shinar, which is ruled by Nimrod. Yes, the city of Ur was located in the land of Shinar. Specifically, it was the prominent city of Sumerian, Mesopotamia, which is often referred to as the land of Shinar in the Bible. The land of Shinar is described to as compass both northern and southern parts of the Mesopotamia, including cities like Babel and Erech or Uruk. Now, what's going to be significant is out of this particular area, we're going to get later folklore and mythology dealing with Sargon and so many others. This is ultimately where Zechariah Stitchens attributes the stories of the Anunnaki and so on and so forth. These new gods, old gods versus new gods, or godlike beings such as Nimrod going up against other entities. So yes, the city of Ur, of which Abraham is from, was in the city of Shinar, land of Shinar, sorry. Nimrod was the king of Shinar. I spelled it right. There we go. Let's read about Nimrod. I'm taking you back to Abraham. It says Nimrod, a biblical figure mentioned in the book of Genesis and in the book of Chronicles, the son of Cush. Now let's talk about Cush. Cush was the son of Ham. See? Cush was the son of Ham. So there was Ham was first. Then there was Nimrod, right? Cush, other children, other child, Havilah. 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 Now I could take you back into Genesis chapter 2 before any of these people were even on the planet to the land of Havilah. That's right. The Garden of Eden flowed through the land of Havilah. Now you have a child by the name of Havilah being born, which is an entire nation of people, of Havilites, if you want to call them that. But anyway, the son of Cush was one Nimrod. The father of Cush was Ham. Ham, he was the brother of Mizraim and Phut and Canaan. You get that? Ham was the father of Cush. Amongst Ham, he had sons by the name of Cush, Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan, 4 sons. Cush was the father of Nimrod. Got it? Cush is traditionally considered the ancestor of the land of Cush, the ancient territory believed located between the Red Sea. Cush is identified in the Bible as the kingdom of Cush, the ancient city of Ethiopia. That's the ancient city referred to in the Bible. You had different kingdoms. Cush is a Hebrew name that is possibly derived from the word Kash, the Egyptian name for the upper Nubia. This is the Nubian kingdom. This is pre-Egyptian. This is pre-Egypt. The Nubians come into Egypt with the information. The Nubian empire is older than the Egyptian empires, which is the Cushitic or the Kush empires or the Nubian empires, from which one Markita, or what they call Queen Markita. She's the empress. She's the empress of that territory. Let's keep going. This is the kingdom of Cush. The form Cush appears in the Egyptian record as early as Menutep II. Look at this, brother. This is the Nubian empires. See, once it gets up into Egypt, the strange amalgamation starts to happen, because up in Egypt, those photographs and those pictures in Egypt, by the time we really understand what's happening in Egypt, that's the Ptolemaic dynasties we start to see in Egypt. These dark figures like Imhotep and Mentuhotep, you get that, you start getting that Hotep behind it, and that Nefertiti and that Tit behind it. Then those are the darker people. I don't know what the other stuff is, but this is the ancient Nubian empire. So all the Hotep brothers hardly ever go into detail about the origins of Egypt and before the uniting of the upper and lower half of Nubia, which gave Egypt. Let's read about it. Mentuhotep II, also under his prominence, Nefertep, was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh, If that word ancient does not precede the word Egypt, not as identification marker with time, but it's talking about it's talking about the pre-dynastic period. This is the pre-dynastic period. Before they start counting, this is the upper and lower and middle kingdoms. When the kingdoms separated or united, under the commands of one pharaoh, when he united the kingdoms. And then the Bible even speaks about the amalgamation when Pharaoh went to go look and say, wait a minute, it's too many of these Hebrews running around here. They're mixing up with our people. They're dirtying up the royal blood. We got to get them out of here. There was another Pharaoh that came after Joseph. Now, the Pharaoh who had Joseph in the Bible and gave Joseph another name, and then Joseph married an Egyptian woman, had 2 kids by this Egyptian. So the Israelites are Egyptian and the Egyptians are Israelites by blood. because Jacob welcomed Ephraim and Manasseh into the bloodline. And then Pharaoh saves Jacob later. Strange mix, man. But anyway, this is the Old Kingdom. It says he's credited with reuniting Egypt, thus ending the tribulation first intermediate period and becoming the first pharaoh of the middle kingdom. You might want to write this down, people. Just, I don't know. I feel like you just should take notes on this. Don't trust my words on this. Just take notes. Go back and research it yourself. Let's go. It says biblical scholars Kevin Burrow argues that Cush and the tablet of the nation should be identified with Mahona. This is the map they're giving us. The placement originally referred to the region east of Mesopotamia, but which starting with the mid-second millennium BC onward became equated to the territories of Cush and Nubia. According to Burroughs, this explains both Cush Mesopotamian connection in the Bible narrative through the sons of Nimrod, and in fact, his name derives from a Nubian kingdom. Nimrod name derives from the Nubian kingdom. Nimrod name itself is Nubian. These are the Nubians, in case you didn't know what a Nubian looked like, okay? I'm gonna let that just sit there for a second. These are the Nubians. Nimrod was a Nubian. And we understand that Nimrod was a Nubian. We call it my Nubian princess. We're talking about what's her name? The queen who came to see Solomon, Queen of Sheba. Let's look this up real quick. Now, we got Nimrod, who was the son of Cush, grandson of Ham. These are Nubians. These are Cushitic people. We got that understood, right? I'm gonna go to Abraham in a second. Just stay with me with Cush. Nimrod was described as the king of the land of Shinar, which is lower Mesopotamia. This is the kingdom of Cush. It's the same map they showed us earlier in the other picture. Nimrod was the king of a kingdom. He was the king of a kingdom of with these ancient Cushites, or these ancient Nubians. Listen, he was the king of Babel, the city of Babel. This is Nimrod. And I told you a little bit earlier, the biblical Nimrod was inspired by one of the exclusive Mesopotamian historical figures, Nemer Sin, Akkadian grandson of Sargon. You started to get Sargon, and this is where Anunnaki goes back a little further than this right here. But this is the story they're making up outside of the Egyptian story. That's why the ancient Egyptian story of Gab and Shu and Tefnut and Aset and Asar, okay, and Haru, those entities are older than the entities that these entities are called Nana Sin. These are the Nana Sin. Now I'm going to introduce to you to two different faculties of which Abraham was battling with. The Nana Sin, and you have the ancient Enad. The ancient Angang and the Enads are two different entities or deities. And this was a dilemma with Abraham. Why Abraham was tossed in the fire in the first place. Let's look it up. Why was Abraham tossed into the fire? Abraham was cast into a fiery furnace by King Nimrod. He refused to worship idols and challenged Nimrod's authority. Abraham's faith in God and one God led him into his father's idols and confronted the king, resulting in a fiery trial The story is found in Jewish and Islamic tradition, although not explicitly in the Bible. Abraham was tossed into a fiery furnace for refusing to worship the idols of Nimrod. Now, Nimrod, we know, was a Nubian. No, Nimrod was a Nubian. So whatever idols Nimrod had, these were Nubian idols. What are some Nubian deities and idols? Ancient Nubia. Look at this right here. See, we're looking for these images on the walls in Kemet. And these images are a little bit further south in Nubia. These darker images are a little further down south in the original kingdoms of Ethiopia, or Aksum, ancient lands of Aksum. Watch this. So there's many multiple names you can call them, not just the Nubian Empire. And I'm only putting it in context so you understand. We talk about Nimrod tossing Abraham into the fire, and then later Abram is going to encounter an entity by the name of Melchizedek, and Melchizedek is going to basically put Abraham in charge of destroying any of those territories or kingdoms to the east of Nubia, which today we call modern day Iran, Iraq, in those territories. Because remember, these people are going to become what's known as Bedouin long before Ishmael is even born. Abraham and his sister, or his niece, or his wife, Sarah, were known as Bedouin, wanderers. They were wanderers. These people you're looking at right on the screen had empires long before Abraham, long before the city of Ur was thought about, because in order for Ur to be established, within the land of Shinar, Nimrod was the king, the first king of the entire territory. We're drawing a connection. Abraham would not submit to the entities of Nimrod. Nobody talks about Abraham and Noah. I'm sorry. Nobody talks about Abraham and Nimrod in the same sentence. I've never heard anybody talk about Abraham and Nimrod in the same sentence. Nimrod was the king of the land of Shinar. Now, the land of Shinar is also known as the land of Sheba. See, same map. It's known as the land of Sheba. Now, the land of Sheba, also known as Saba, historically kingdom located southern Arabia, primarily modern day Yemen. It flourished between the 8th century BC and 275 CE. The kingdom is renowned for its wealth, trade. Its most famous figure, Queen of Sheba, who is said to have visited King Solomon in Jerusalem. Queen of Sheba. The Queen of Sheba. That's not her name now. Sheba is a location. The Queen of Sheba, also known as Blex in Arabic and as Makeda. That's her name, Makeda. The Queen of Sheba. Is also known as Aksum. The kingdom of Aksum, also known as Aksum, is a major ancient civilization, ancient civilization centered in what is now northern Ethiopia and Eritrea. It flourished as a powerful naval and trading empire from around the 1st 7th century. Aksum was known for its trade work, unique written script Ge'ez, and adaptation of Christianity. The land of Aksum and Sheba and Cush are the same. AI says, no, the lands of Axum, Sheba, and Cush are not the same, though they are geographically connected in some ways. Let's read on about it. Axum is an ancient, powerful kingdom and trading north, located primarily in modern-day northern Ethiopia. Sheba, the ancient kingdom of the southern Arabia, known for its wealth, particularly in trade. There are also claims of Queen of Sheba trading with who ruled parts of Ethiopia. So let's Sheba, Queen of Sheba, ruled parts of Ethiopia. So now Sheba and Ethiopia are connected. Axum is the powerful kingdom and trading nation located primarily in modern day Ethiopia. Axum and Sheba, same. Ancient powerful kingdom, it says. Ancient powerful kingdom, it says. And southern, one is northern. Axum is northern Ethiopia. Sheba is southern Ethiopia. Cush is the ancient kingdom located along the Nile River. It was now northern Sudan. It was also known as Ethiopia. Cush is also known as Ethiopia. I don't know why AI be playing games, man. That's just crazy. I don't know why he playing games like that. That's crazy to me. Hold on. My bad, fam. I had the right screen on. Hold on. I was just going in too. There we go. This is what I was rattling about right here. You guys can see the screen. I'm sharing the screen now, but you see, I asked basically AI, are Axum, Sheba, and Cush the same? They said no, it's not the same. Now, here's what I'm saying. Hear me out. Just hear me out. It says Axum is an ancient, powerful kingdom and trading nation located primarily in modern-day northern Ethiopia. It exists from the 1st to 7th century. Sheba, it says, is an ancient kingdom in southern Arabia, known for its wealth. There are also claims that the Queen of Sheba, a legendary figure who visited King Solomon, ruled parts of Ethiopia. Axum. See right here? Sheba, an ancient kingdom. That's the kingdom. The Queen of Sheba, or Markita, ruled parts of Ethiopia, or Axum. They have it right here. Axum. Axum. Same territory, northern and southern Ethiopia. Cush, an ancient kingdom. They always start by telling you it's an ancient kingdom. Got that? Located along the Nile River. Britannica notes this also known as, right here, Ethiopia to the ancient Greeks. Cush also ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty. These Cushitic, Nubian people. Got it? All right, back to Abraham. Want to put some context on it, man. I mean, I think it's important. This is Sunday school, man. This is Sunday school. We in it. Yep. True King, what's up, bro? Peace and love. Peace and light. Peace and light. What's going on, Wanda? Peace. Peace and light. Peace and light, brother. Islam. Screen not sharing. What's going on? Y'all got to share this, man. Get the word out, bro. You're on YouTube, man. Tap some people. Add some people. Get my damn views up, bro. I figure if I just go live by myself, I can say what I want to say. It's on my fucking channel. I'm not restricted, you know? So share this shit. Get them views up. Father Abraham. Give me a second, fam. Let me If you could turn with me, turn to your Bibles to the book of Genesis. Genesis 14:20. Let's talk about what happens in Genesis 14:20. Y'all ready? Put your seatbelt on. Genesis 14:20. Abraham gives Melchizedek a tenth of spoils of war after battle. This act is significant as recognizes Melchizedek's priesthood and God's victory. It is not explicitly present at the mandatory tithe, but rather as a spontaneous offering of gratitude and respect according to the interpretations of the passage. A tenth of giving. Who did Abraham attack? What kingdoms did Abraham attack for Melchizedek? This says, based on the account in Genesis 14, Abraham, they call Abram, did not attack any kingdom specifically for Melchizedek. Rather, Abraham's military action was taken to rescue his nephew Lot, who was taken being captive during war between the alliance of the four kings and a group of 5 kings. Melchizedek, the king of Salem, the priest of God Most High, El Elyon, they call him, or Elyon, El. We understand that Melchizedek is the first high priest of Elyon, El, right? That's what makes Melchizedek so important in Genesis, dealing with Abram. Now, Abram is going to have another encounter with this angelic being later, have another conversation with this angelic being. Melchizedek is Michael. That's who the first high priest of the Most High is, Michael. Christ Michael is next, besides the Most High. This is the actual battle, the battle of Siddim. The battle of Siddim, 5 cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, Adam, Admaiah, Zimbon, Bela, and whatever it is. Abraham's 318 elite forces against 5 kings. What kingdom did Melchizedek rule? See, right there? I told you. Elyon El. I don't be making this shit up. I told you. I told you who Melchizedek was. I'm going to teach you who Melchizedek is. Melchizedek is Michael El. Michael El is the first high priest of the Most High, Elyon El, or El Elyon. And you see it on your screen, it says El Elyon. In Arab is El Allah. El Allah. El Elyon, El Allah. Allah. Same thing. But Melchizedek has a conversation with Abraham. I want to show you who Melchizedek is. In the Hebrew Bible, it says, in the Hebrew Bible. And what is the Hebrew Bible called? What is the Hebrew Bible called? It can be referred to as the Torah, referred to as the Book of Moses, the Pentateuch, the Sefer HaRasa literature. The Septuagint is the Greek version of what it was. So in some context, you can say the Septuagint. In the Hebrew Bible, Melchizedek was the king of Salem and the priest of El Elyon, often translated as Most High God. Do y'all hear that? In the Hebrew Bible, Melchizedek was the king of Salem. Salem is an ancient Middle Eastern town mentioned in the Bible. Salem is Hebrew for peace. Traditionally, Salem is identified with Jerusalem. However, in recent scholarship, changes its association. In some associations, Salem, the city of Salem, was identified with the city of Jerusalem, the city of peace. Jerusalem. Do you see it? Salem. Yaru. Yahweh, city of peace. The city of Salem is associated with Yahweh, city of peace, or El Elyon. See? Elyon, or Elyon, El Elyon, is the epithet that appears in the Hebrew Bible, rendering as God Most High. And similar in the Septuagint, I just told you that, the title Elyon is a common topic of scholarly debate, sometimes interpreted as equal to Abrahamic God. In Christian, according to the epistles of Hebrews, Jesus Christ is identified as a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And so Jesus assumes the role of high priest once and for all. This is who, and I'm only showing this because these are of the Abrahamic beliefs. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are what's known as the Abrahamic beliefs. But how many of us have taken the time to take a step back and realize what influenced Abraham? Who was Abraham? Where he come from? Who's his people? And Abraham was definitely a Chaldean, not a Hebrew. What made Abraham a Hebrew? What made him a Hebrew? What made Abraham a Hebrew? Abraham is called Abram, the Hebrew. The term likely refers to the lineage possibly linked to his ancestor Eber. It might also indicate the status of someone who crossed over from the other side of the Euphrates River, or his position as a monotheistic in the world of polytheism. So it's the fact that he switched over to a monotheistic belief. He may be related to Eber, and because he crossed over the Euphrates, these are the things that qualifies him to be called Hebrew. Not that he is, because we commonly know the Hebrews as the children of Jacob. That's usually the common association to like the Hebrews is the lineage of Jacob, not the lineage of Abraham. And Abraham only qualifies to be called a Hebrew because he crossed over. The only reason the Hebrews are called Hebrews because they crossed over the river, the Euphrates River that crossed over. That's what the word literally means, cross over. Aparu, also known in the Akkadic as Hebrew. Right. And you might be right about that. But I'm showing y'all how these are not who they say they are. And in Revelation, when the Most High speaks and say those who call themselves Jews and are not Jews, they're not just talking about the ones in New York with the black hats. They're talking about all these Negroes out here pretending to be what they're not. I'm showing you I'm showing you the information. Run back and tell them, please. Habaru or Haparu is the term used in the second millennium BC text, BC, before Christ. This was used before Jesus got here. Throughout the Fertile Crescent is the land of Shinar, it's the Mesopotamia, that's where we just came from, for a social status of people who were described as rebels, outlaws, raiders, mercenaries, bowmen, servants, slaves, and laborers. This was a common term used throughout that region to identify people who were servants, slaves, and laborers. This might be applicable to the Hebrew story of them building the pyramids. I don't know yet. Let's just stay tapped in. Due to the linguistic similarity between the term Aparu and Hebrew, early scholars equated them with the Israelites. However, most contemporary scholars now regard the connection as indirect, suggesting that while some early Israelites may have originated from this group, while suggesting they agree that some early Israelites may have originated from this group, they likely adapted linguistic label the process. The term was first discovered in Akkadian version of Habaru or Haparu, due to later find the Ugaritic and Egyptian, which used the consonant PRR, NR, and light was still established the sound of change. Archaic is root. The root means dust, dirt, and links characters to Aparu as nomads, mercenaries, people who are not part of a culture society. Nomads, Bedouins. I told you earlier they're called Bedouins. Desert dwellers. They slept in tents. Just like some people over here. These are desert dwellers. I've wished our mind would be equated to understand that the people that dwelled in the deserts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq, Iran, those desert dwellers are those nobles who guarded the shrine, rode on camels and horses. Those desert dwellers. Let's try this. Desert dwellers. Indians and teepees. Desert dwellers. Tent people. They had no permanent resident anywhere because they're not from that place. They wandered in that place. I'm just showing you the similarities between the desert dwellers of that time, the tribes of Kedar, and so on and so forth, the descendants of Ishmael, the so-called Arabs or Bedouin, Arabia, tent dwellers. They're not from there. They slept in tents. Different tribe, different beliefs. The Apache don't do the same thing as the Navajo. The Lakota don't do the same thing as the Pueblos. Desert dwellers. Arabia. Haparus. Abraham. Eber is the great grandfather of Abraham. The descendant of this Eber or Heber is known as Hebrews. Abraham or Abraham is one of them. Hebrew are also known as Hebrews. Hebrew or from the word Eber, they say. This is what makes Abraham a Hebrew, from Eber. Abraham blessed by Melchizedek. So Melchizedek blesses Abraham from the beginning. Before Abraham has any children, anything happens with Abraham, he already has a blessing on his life already from this high priest, Melchizedek, who is the first high priest of the god El Elyon. Now, El Elyon is not even mentioned in the Bible, but Melchizedek is mentioned in the Bible. Genesis 14, 17 through 20 is definitely in the Bible. So when you read about Melchizedek, and you read about the fact that it says Jesus is forever after the order of Melchizedek, there's a priestly order of Melchizedekians. This is a whole sacred order that Jesus is a part of. But what deity does Melchizedek gives reference to? That deity is named El Elyon. In Arabic, it will be El Illah. This is what Melchizedek is doing, dealing with Abraham. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Anyway, fam, it's about that time, man. Get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Sunday school, man. I'll be sure to tap back in a little bit later. I got some more information I want to keep putting out. So when y'all see that live button go off, man, tap in with me. Share. Comment. Like. Subscribe. Appreciate y'all, man.
You see, Abram is met with two paths: a tree of life or a tree of choosing right from wrong for himself. And so, Abram went, as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all the possessions they had accumulated and the people that they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land to the site of Shechem, at the oak of Moreh. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." And so, Abram built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there, he moved on to the hill country east of Bethel, and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. He built an altar to the Lord there too, and he called on the name of the Lord. And then, Abram journeyed by stages to the Negev. As Abram and his company travel around the land of which God had called them, they realize that the chaos of the uncreated order has taken over. There's a famine.
Through Rula, it's easier to connect with a therapist who specializes in you. Tell us what's important and